Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and welcome to another episode. I apologize for the delay. Things have gotten a little out of hand here on the busy side, especially after the truck challenge. So this episode, I am tackling a Matchbox K-10 auto transport. As always, if you like what you see, make sure you like and subscribe. So yeah, I got this. This is a commission build for William Robinson, Mr. K7, or Mr. K10 in this case. This has been in my possession for quite a while, and like all my commission builds, I am so far behind, it's not even funny. It's amazing how quick things get out of control. So the first thing that, we had kind of discussed what he wanted, what I wanted, and what I like about William is I have a lot of flexibility with doing what I want to do, and we kind of think the same as far as outcome, so it works out really well. So to start, I have to take everything apart, and to be honest with you, I am not a Matchbox person whatsoever. And trying to figure out how to take this apart, where to take it apart, so I didn't screw myself on the other side, putting it all back together, was a little bit of a challenge. But knowing like certain things, like I knew I wasn't keeping the wheels and the axles, so that was fairly easy. Overall, this wasn't as bad as I expected. Getting the pins out, I had to grind the ends, or at least one end that held the ramps in. Aside from that, it actually really wasn't that bad. I mean, I think the biggest obstacle with this was the actual overall size. Trying to work with something that's this big when you're used to working with, individual cars is a little bit of a challenge, but overall not too bad, aside from the fact that I went through like a gallon of citrus strip. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, after taking it apart, it's good to really just evaluate all the pieces, parts, and figure out what you have and how you're going to put it all back together. That really plays into how you paint, how you assemble. There's a little bit of thought process that goes into it. I can't just go into it like a bull in a china closet, even though it kind of looks like I am most of the time. And yeah, most of the time I probably am. These shocks were probably the hardest thing to get out, only because I really couldn't get in there that well. But I just kind of drilled one side, and then I was able to pry them off. And what that allowed me to do is I didn't damage it. So I was able to just pop them back in or snap them back in when I put it all back together. But yeah, overall not too bad. And my Tubbo citrus strip was not quite big enough, so I had to do the hauler aspect of it in 2 stages. It just doesn't fit. But after a while, I did manage to get it pretty decent. The red paint was pretty stubborn. It didn't come off that easily, so that was a little bit of a challenge. And to be honest with you, the casting was horrible. There's a lot of imperfections that I just couldn't get out or have the time. I mean, I could have spent a year on this and probably not gotten everything out. But I'm using the Muscle Machine wheels, and that he sent me as well. They come in, these ones are a little bit different. A lot of like the big time muscles are easy to work with. These are a little bit more difficult because they're a cap, and then the wheel actually, you can see right there that the wheel with the rim is separate, and then there's a cap with the actual axle in it that's peened on one end to keep it from pulling through. So I had to make axle tubes, which isn't a big deal. I'm using the 1/16 brass rod, and I wanted to make sure that I had the right distance because these wheels were actually just a tad bit thinner than the actual knobby ones that came on it. So I wanted to make sure the back stuck out just a slight bit more. So getting the right length on the wow, I can stop drinking when I do this. The axle tubes was pretty important. So right there, you can see I've got my 2 sets of wheels on. I ended up changing the back set. I actually screwed up, and I needed to find another set that matched. And the ones I ended up finding were fatter, which really a little bit taller. So it actually gave it a nice rake without being obscene. So I kind of like that. So you can see right here, I'm kind of fiddling around. I want to put these blower motors or the blower with the scoop and the carbs that came with the muscle machines. I want to put those on there because there's 2 motors in the back. So obviously to do that, I got to cut a section out. And if you're a Matchbox purist, you might want to just look away. But I'm going to end up cutting the windshield, and I'm going to cut this section out of the middle just to get a nice open cab area. So you can see right there, I'm actually just keeping the carb and the scoop because the motors that are on it have a blower to begin with. So there's no point in recreating the wheel there. So I'm going to take 2 of those. I'm going to end up filing and cutting that down so it's fairly flush. And then I'm going to trim off. There's like a faux scoop on these. So I'm just going to grind that flat and then pretty much just made up the 2 pieces together and I'll be good to go. So you can kind of see right there what I'm after. I'm just piecing things together. I do a lot of upfits. I like to play around with stuff to make sure it's going to fit when I put it all together because I've screwed myself so many times it's not funny. So here I am just mocking it up one final time. The casting, like I said, there's a lot of imperfections, and a lot of it I couldn't get at. But a file and a sanding stick or a nail file, whatever you happen to have, really gets 90% of it off if you just take your time and show some patience. You can see my area is a pigsty. I've got metal shavings everywhere, and I'm rubbing my hands in it. So I'm using my splash paints, which I absolutely love. I picked burnt iron as the color. So I did prime this in the Stynel Res, and I'm not sure if this is showing up right. I don't know what happened to my camera. It looks like everything is blue, at least on my end. But the splash paints, this burnt iron is unbelievable. I love the look of it. It's kind of got it's almost like a deep copper, right? Mixed with root beer brown, it's just really hard to explain. But stuff goes on great, cleans up super easy. You pour it right out of the bottle. So the other pieces, you can see I took my filter out because I get tired of looking at it. I have to go get another one. I've blown it out so many times it's not even funny. It's pretty much done. So I have this aluminum color also from Splash Paints that I'm going to use to paint the tailgate, the ramps, and the chassis for the cab. And I really, really love this color. I was just talking with William. I have a couple RS2000 Matchbox rally cars that I'm going to paint one of these 2 colors or a combination of both. So I know it's been a while. My Wicked Pissa Jar. It's a bunch of free stuff I'm going to be giving away to people when I hit 14,000 subscribers. Right now I'm at 12.7. So far in this jar is this pack. I got this hauler because I don't do imports. I don't know why I bought that. I've got this Fast and Furious ice charger. I've got these 2 Matchbox that were donated specifically for the jar. And I'm adding in this Maisto hauler with the Monte Carlo and whatever the hell this is. It came with the 50-car set case thing that I bought. So yeah, when I hit 14,000 subscribers, I'm giving it away to one person, a subscriber that's on my list. So please make sure you share. I'm halfway there, just about. And because I started this when I was at 12,000. So I appreciate it. And that's kind of my way of saying thank you. So back to the build. You can see I'm using a piece of axle rod, which is piano wire. And I'm using that to put and sleeve the actual axle tube. So when I grind out my little holes to put my glue in to seal and seat the wheels in, the tubes and the axles together, I don't go too far and it's just right. Just a little trick I've been doing. I do it on all mine. So the pins that held in the ramp, they're real rusty. So I kind of cleaned them with some steel wool, and now I'm just going to go over it, polish them up a little bit so it slides nice and easy. And that's the goal anyways when I put it all back together. It's just every little piece you have to make look as good as you possibly can. So, and speaking of which, the windshield was horrible. And I got it the best I could get it. A lot of deep scratches, it's just really, really bad. So I wet sanded it, and I end up polishing it with my car polish from Chemical Guys. And I wish they would sponsor this because I use that crap on everything. Oh, my truck, my cars, everything. But anyways, I'm gonna polish it real quick with that, and then I still use the gauzy, which I'm not a big fan of. I actually like the Pledge Floor Shine better, but yeah, neither really did the job. I mean, it looks good. It looks 100% better than it did, but I just could not get everything out the way I wanted to. And you can see that I've already cut what I don't need off of the windshield. So again, I apologize to the purists, but you know, you have to sacrifice for the greater good, and that's what I did. So it worked out pretty well. So other than that, this came out really well. There's a lot of detail painting that just takes time. You know, the big projects like this, I mean, I know that the back part of it with the hauler really isn't, there's not a lot to it. And I could have gone really crazy with it. I didn't. I've been trying to find a happy medium of not going completely nuts and making a project take me a month, because I still have to get videos out, you know, and that's the downside. If you have a YouTube channel, you understand, you know, you have to get a video out, or feel compelled to get a video out every week. So there's certain things you have to pick and choose which projects you do and when and how, and there's a lot goes to it. So, but the detail painting on the cab in the engine compartment was crucial, because you can see it, even though it's got that god-awful yellow orange glass, you can still see the details. So I'm using the Xandri dust from Citadel. It's a nice tan color, and I thought the seats would look kind of good with that, and it is what it is. I just think it looks good. The fuel tanks on the side, I'm going with yellow, because for me, I don't know about overseas, but around here, red gas cans are for gas and yellow gas cans are for diesel. I'm assuming this is a diesel-powered hauler, and I'm painting them yellow, and that's just what I did. So the Citadel paints, you can do whatever you want with them. You can paint them right out of the jar, or you can thin them out and do them that way. Either way, usually you have to put more than one coat on. So I wanted to do some spark plug wires. I get this 20 gauge bead wire, which I've had forever. So I drilled 8 holes per motor inside, and I'm just going to stick that through and glue it from the bottom, and then that way I can wrap it around to the back, which kind of caused me a little bit of a problem when I went to assemble this, because there's not a lot of room in the back. So, which I'm doing right this second. I'm going to pop my glass in, and you can see with the wires on there how it really rides right up against the back wall, and then there's a post that sticks down, so you're trying to wedge in between everything. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but if it don't fit, force it. Isn't that how it goes? No, I managed to get it in there, and it's not coming out, that's for sure. Yeah, this was a fun project. I kind of put it off because I had other things going on, but I really, really wanted to do this, especially for William, because he's been so generous, and not just to me, but to every diecast customizer with a YouTube channel out there. He's like the godfather of donations. So, and before anybody gives me shit, yes, my hands are horrible. I work outside a lot. I have dry hands. I use all the greatest stuff out there. Winter's almost over, so it is what it is. I want to take a second to go over my Patreon page. This is kind of a shameless plug here. I've had a lot of people with me since the beginning. I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. If I make $300 in a month, I would be ecstatic. I don't think I've ever even done that. So the Patreon page actually helps me a lot, because it gives me an opportunity to go out and buy the things that I really want. This hobby gets expensive, especially when you're doing stuff all the time. So I've created 3 tiers. I do giveaways. I give away a custom every month. I give away 10 random cars, or cars worth $10 to everybody. So you can look at the tiers, check it out. It's patreon.com, Outlaw Speed Shop. And if it's something that interests you, great. If not, don't worry about it. I just figured I'd throw it out there. I guess if you don't ask, you don't know. So I always get yelled at work because I don't promote myself enough, and everybody makes fun of me. So there you go. And Paul, that was for you. You know who you are. So ultimately, this is kind of what I started with. as you guys remember. It needed some work for sure. It was pretty beat, but it was all there, which was a plus. Not having to fabricate new stuff because stuff was missing. So, overall, I think he gave me a good casting. And this is what I ended up with: a burnt iron in aluminum, two-tone K-10 custom hauler with muscle machine rims, tires, custom paint. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not perfect. There was just way too much to, way too much to do to make it 100% perfect, but I think it came out really good. I think William's happy with it. I've showed him pictures. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some inspiration to maybe tackle your own or tackle that bigger project. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.